Hey, welcome to Chin-Wag. It is day 3 of 2012, and I thought, let's talk a little bit about resolutions. I know a lot of people make resolutions, and a lot of people don't make resolutions because they simply hate them. The number one resolution, of course, that you all know is to lose weight. I'm not doing too well in that department already, but so I'm not going to even make that a resolution. I wanted to talk to just a little bit about the resolutions and why they're important, or at least let's change resolutions to the word goals. I think a big resolution that people could potentially have would be to relax. I'm looking on Facebook, and I love Facebook, and I enjoy seeing different people's responses, status updates, and things that they post on their wall. Actually, they changed that now. It's not the wall; it's the timeline. And so I like looking at that, and I guess I want to challenge you in this new year to relax. Just take it easy. I think whether it's Facebook or just our lives or even Christianity can make us way too busy. I think churches can put way too much on people to get involved with every ministry they have to offer, and therefore your schedule is just as crazy as some kids that are in sports all the time. You have no rest. You have no time to relax. You don't need to be at church all the time. You don't need to do all the events at church all the time, but rather relax and find some time. There's a lot of scripture here that has to do with relaxing. Let me just read a couple here. Proverbs 12:25 says, "Anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but good work makes him glad." Anxiety, worrying, staying busy all the time. I think staying busy and worrying all the time leads to anxiety. I'm looking at let's go with John 1:14. "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen His glory. Glory as the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth." What does that have to do with relaxing? Let me tell you for a minute. It says here, let me just read again. "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen His glory, glory as of the only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth." Do you see when we're busy, when we're constantly running around, do we hear from God? When you're constantly worrying about work, family, all these things, there's a place for that, and we need to do that. But when you don't relax and you don't take time to hear from God, do you really know who God is at that point? I know there's a lot of people that just say, man, if I could just take some time for myself, I could just center myself, I could reconnect. And, I think it's important to do these things. I have 5 resolutions for the new year. I know that's kind of lofty, but these are the things I'm going to do. And none of them has to do with becoming more busy in my life or anything like that. But they all will help me become a better father, a better pastor, and a better person overall. My first one is write a new book. I'm working on a new book right now, and I hope to have it to the publishers by December of 2012. We'll see where that goes. It's not a blog book. It's not so much really just regular Christian reading. It's really just my observations on church life and being brutally transparent. Next one is I'm going to blog more. I kind of took a lot of the year off last year, and I do have a blog site that continues to generate hundreds of hits a day, and so I want to continue blogging with that. Chin-Wag, this very video, I'm going to be much more faithful with these as I have been when I first started, and the holidays came up and started fading away a little bit, but now I'm back again. And 2 of my personal hobbies that I want to do is draw. I love drawing. I do pencil sketches and things of all different things. And that was actually my first passion before I went into becoming a pastor, was to become a graphic designer. And I actually had scholarships lined up for Cardinal Stritch University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so drawing, I actually took a little time last night and drew. And then photography. I'm not going to become a pro photographer. I'm not going to try to open my own little freelance photography thing. It's simply for me to do these things. Now, all 5 of these, 3 of them seem like they're ministry related. 2 of them seem like vacation or just peace of mind related. But all 5 of them are things I enjoy doing. What do you enjoy doing? What are things where you can get lost in and through these things, connect with God again? Your sanity is number one in this new year. Are you going to stay sane? Here's the phrase that I live by: don't complain about what you permit. If you're complaining constantly about being way too busy or all these things, at the very root of that complaint, are you permitting that to happen in your life? Something to think about. Love to hear from you. We'll talk to you soon.